Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us for Webinar Wednesday. Today we have Jason and Dan. They're from MGT, one of our new carrier partners. I'm going to turn it over for them to introduce themselves and get started.
Thanks, Kylie. I don't know, Dan, are you there? Are you able to hop
Yes,
in?
sorry, I
Okay.
am here. For some reason, my camera's not working today, but very excited to join everybody. Please just imagine in your mind's eye a big, smiling, friendly face. That's me right here, just for you. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Dan, National Sales Manager with MGT Insurance, which really just means I've figured out how to make a living sharing insurance puns with the world. So super excited to add you all into the group. So that's your warning. Expect insurance puns along the way. And Jason, I'll let you introduce yourself too.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, just real quick, my name is Jason. I run distribution here at MGT, and it's a pleasure to work with you all again. Some of you may recognize my name, I hope anyway, but I do. I'm very excited to be partnered with Invo again. It's been a pleasure to work with you all in the past, and as we are getting MGT up and running very strongly with lots of different classes all across the country, I couldn't think of a better partner to partner up with. So excited to be here with y'all today.
So let's, before we jump into the demonstration of our platform, let's talk a little bit about appetite, where you can think of MGT. So we are an A- rated carrier, and we're writing admitted isoform BOPs for about 230 classes of business. What's that look like? That's going to be a lot of the same types of business that you drive by on your way into the office. We're a great fit for medical and professional office risks. We're writing a lot of retail store classes, wholesalers and distributors, beauty parlors, barber shops, nail salons, bakeries, candy stores, grocery stores. We are just adding this week coffee shops, juice bars, bagel shops, donut shops. So our appetite is constantly expanding. That's one area you may find us to be a little different from many of the players in the market. We are looking to grow. We want to write business. We want to help you find some wins. So as far as what kinds of business fit with us, generally it's the smaller businesses. We define that as up to 3 million in revenue for most classes, up to 5 million revenue for office risks. We can write up to $2 million total insured value in property limits per location, up to 4 locations per policy. We do accept new ventures. We can accept businesses with claims history, coverage lapses, depending on the circumstances. We can be a great fit for buildings in high protection class areas. We can be a great fit for older buildings that are still well maintained and updated. We actually don't have a maximum age of construction. We can be a great fit for business personal property on coastal risks, which we will write with no wind, hail deductible, right up to the waterfront. So bring it on if you've got a beach clothing store, maybe a realty office out in a great area like that. Send those our way. And the reason I would say most agents who have really found a good fit with MGT enjoy working with us. Yes, it's the appetite, which is great. It's broad enough to give you a lot of chances to win business, meets a need in the marketplace. But there's always a second question that I don't think people ask as often, which is how do you access that appetite? And that's really where we shine and where we make things easier than any other carrier in the market. With MGT, all submissions go in through our website. So you'll never have to fill out an accord. You'll never have to wait on someone else when you need business now. You don't have to wait for someone to open up an email or pick up the phone or go check with their boss and see if they have authority to quote this for you. You need a quote, fire up mgtinsurance.com, enter in the submission information. Over 90% of the time, submissions are completed in 7 minutes or less. So it's very fast. We're only asking what we need to know. And then we return to you a bindable quote. So it doesn't need any additional apps, doesn't need any additional back and forth with an underwriter. You've got terms. All it takes to get it over the finish line is putting in payment information. We'll instantly bind and issue that policy, so you'll also have access to all the documents. So if you have a lender or a landlord who's waiting on proof of insurance, shoot it over to them, then move on to the next thing on your to-do list. Because if the folks on this call are anything like all the other agents I've ever worked with, you have a very long to-do list. And funny thing is, the longer that to-do list gets, the days still stay the same length. So we want to give you some more time back in the day to focus on all those other things that are so important to you. So, and also, that process is great. We really do make it better and easier than anybody else. But at the end of the day, that's still the first 10 minutes of a policy's lifetime, and a policy lives for a full year. We make it easy to follow up on that, keep it maintained, keep it up to date, so you don't have to spend all day, following up and going through different phone trees, calling 8 different people to try and get one single mailing address endorsement processed. That's the exact reason MGT exists, is to save you from having to do that kind of thing. So all that said, let me get this fired up for us, and I'll share my screen. We can kind of run through what it looks like to work with MGT. So I have got this pulled up to mgtinsurance.com. A lot of great information here. The reason I wanted to start here, first off, to show off night mode. Isn't that cool? And then also, too, if you check out the BOP appetite section, you'll get a lot of really good, really up-to-date information on our appetite, which is important because it's growing pretty fast. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, New Year's Day this year, we were writing 95 classes of business. Today, it's 230. So we've more than doubled in just 6 months. So stay up to date right here. And then to get logged in, just click sign in. That'll take you into the dashboard. And this does exactly what you would hope a dashboard would do. You can start quotes here. You can also manage quotes that you and your team have been working on. And you can click into the policies tab and access some of those great self-service features as well. So if we click view self-service next to an account, one page I always like to highlight is the documents and communications section. A lot of good information here. And if you've ever run into a situation where you put in a bind order, coverage is bound, everybody's happy, and then 2 weeks later, you get a call back from the policyholder, hey, never got my receipt. Do I have insurance? Do I have coverage? What if there's a fire? Well, no need to panic. 2 clicks will get you into this section of the website, and you can confirm, yes, that policy is active. You can let them know down to the second when we sent that receipt. You can click it, open it up if you need to reference any details in there. You can also download the full policy jacket. You can create a certificate of insurance. You can download the deck page. There's a lot of really good information right here, just one click away. And then also in this section, you can update and track payment history, and you can file and track claims as well. And then we'll go ahead and click on the name in the upper right-hand corner to take us back to the dashboard. To start a quote out, the very first thing we'll do is enter in the class of business. And this box here has some keyword search built in, and it's also a great way to get a quick appetite check. So for example, if you were to come to us and say, hey, MGT, I need to quote a roofer. Our platform knows roofer is a type of contractor, and it also knows that contractors are just out of appetite for us. So it'll tell you right there, no drama, no wheel spinning, makes it easy to pivot, find a plan B or a plan C. Kind of on the other side of the coin, say you're talking to someone who you know is a doctor. If you type that in, it'll pull up all of our different medical office class codes, and then you can find the one that best describes that risk. Once you've got the class of business selected, the next thing you'll do is put in the address. Pretty self-explanatory there. And so just click on the address to select it and then click go. And in the next page, you'll see a street view of that location. This just gives you an opportunity to validate the risk, double check the sidewalk, the parking lot, make sure we're quoting the right address to start off with. You can see if there are any dynamite factories next door. And then we'll start to ask a few questions to clarify the type of risk and the type of coverage that we're offering. So if there are buildings that we need to cover, first thing it'll ask is if there's any mixed use or mixed occupancy, because MGT is not a great fit for those risks, and it comes up a lot. So we put it right up front. And if you say yes, it'll just let you know straight up, MGT is not a market for buildings with multiple occupancies. That way you can pivot, find another market that might be a better fit for that risk. So when we say yes, that's our favorite result. But when we do have to say no, we want to get you that answer as fast as possible. And so just answer a couple of questions on this page and then click continue to go into the next. And I'm not going to make everybody watch me type in over and over all the answers. So let me pick one up that's already been completed. And then we'll just use a little TV magic on this one. So quoting with MGT is just 4 steps. In step 1, we'll enter in some basic information about this business. The description of operations and the address pre-fill from that last page. We'll enter the name, the phone number, gross sales, some information about the business owner. We can add any additional locations here, up to 3 additional for a total of 4 locations. We'll click continue to go into the next page. And in this page, we can set the effective date, enter a couple more pieces of information about that business, describe their insurance history, and then we'll click continue again, and we are all done now with the first section. In step 2, this is where we'll start to define the scale and the scope of their operations. This list of questions populates based on the class code, so it's only asking what's relevant for that type of business. And because of that, you can see this is a pretty lightweight section of the website. This is a grocery store. This is about as many questions as you'll ever see us asking. There's a grand total of 7 on this page. If you're working on something like an accountant's office, you might expect as few as 4 questions when you're working on that. So we'll click continue here. Now we're all done with step 2. And in step 3, this is where we'll start to enter building information. Quick tip here. If you remember back in that first page where we selected whether we want to include building limits or not, I see this happen pretty frequently where someone will start a quote saying, yes, we need building coverage. And then by the time they make it here to page 3 and take a second look at those apps, they see it's actually a rental unit. We don't need building limits after all. To fix that, all you have to do is click on this top drop-down box, select business personal property only. That will remove all the building questions, and then you can just proceed through the quote without having to restart it. But even with building information included, this is still pretty straightforward and streamlined. We're just asking the basic underwriting questions to get a sense of the risk. How big is it? What's it made out of? When was it built? What's the roof look like? A couple questions about what's going on inside. We do have a built-in replacement cost estimate. And this just takes some of the information about that building, guesses the average cost to replace a building like that in that location. But this is a free entry box. So if the number we're using is different from the number you want to use, go ahead, enter anything in this box. If it's too different from what we think it should be, it may refer so we can kind of get in touch with that risk, make sure we're valuing it correctly. But we don't see that too often, to be honest with you. So let's hit continue to go into the next page. And in this page, we can add any additional insureds that we need to add. Click continue again. And at this point, you're seeing check, check, check. We've answered all the underwriting questions. So more than likely, this is a risk that should be a good fit with MGT. And then we'll hit optional coverages to get into the fun part. Now, this list of optional coverages also populates based on the class of business. For grocery store, spoilage coverage is a concern. We wanted to make sure that was a coverage that was available for them. Doesn't come up a whole lot for nail salons, though. Nail salons, however, do see a need for professional liability, which we do make available to them. But that's not a major concern for grocers, and so you just won't see that on this list. Anything you do see here is a bindable coverage, though, so you can feel confident that anything you add, you can stand behind that quote. Now let's hit continue. You'll see there's just a couple underwriting questions for any optional coverages to confirm it's available, set the terms and limits, which we've done here. And so we'll click continue again. And then we've got everything entered now. So we can go ahead and click see your quote. And when I click that and the little circle starts to spin in the middle of the screen, that is really where the magic's happening. Behind the scenes, it's running a bunch of different checks, it's scoring the risk, it's geolocating it, it's digging through different databases. And in just seconds, we got a quote back where if I had emailed this Accord over to some underwriters I've worked with in the past, I'd still be waiting for a couple days for them to open that email up. So taking a look at this, you've got pricing back in quarterly installments or one annual payment. We are a direct bill carrier, and so there are no additional taxes or fees on these premiums. There is a little bit of a discount for annual payments. It's very transparent about what that is. And then in the rest of this page, you'll just set all of your different deductibles and sublimits. One nice feature in this page is the options that you see will only be bindable options. So if there's some kind of, maybe you're quoting a building in an area where we have a mandatory 2% wind hail deductible, you'll only see options that at least meet that mandatory deductible. And I'm sharing that so you can know, you can feel confident standing behind any quotes that you've received through our platform. The rest of this page, I'm sure looks familiar to everybody on this call. You've probably seen pages that look just like this a million times. All I'll highlight here is you can really tailor the policy to this risk and adjust these optional coverages to meet their needs. And then we'll click continue again. And now you'll notice all these boxes are grayed out. So those options are locked in. You can click print quote to turn all this into a nice little PDF and send that out as part of your proposal. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, we do still have this previous button if you did need to go back and make changes. And once they're ready to move forward, you can just click confirm and purchase. So we know that sometimes prospects don't want to share their credit card information over the phone. No problem at all. We do have the ability from within the platform to email them a secure payment link. Just confirm their email address, click send to prospect. They'll get a nice little email message with a secure payment link. When they click it, it'll look very much like this. And from here, very straightforward. Just select annual or quarterly, e-check, credit, or debit. I will pause here to highlight we do not charge any payment fees no matter how they choose to make payment. Enter in that payment information, billing zip, auto pay is automatically selected. You can always unselect it, but we definitely do see that it helps retention to keep that turned on. All their contact information pre-fills, confirm their email address, agree that they are actually allowed to purchase the policy. You will see a link down here to print the application. We don't require signed apps to bind a policy. You can still print it. I do work with plenty of agents that do still print it, have it signed, retain that for their records, but MGT does not require that. From there, just click submit payment. And as soon as that payment goes through, you'll get a nice little pop-up message. Thank you for binding this business with MGT. We appreciate the opportunity to protect your business. And then the agent who bound the account will receive an email letting them know that transaction went through. You have a paper trail. Policy holder will also receive a receipt, and we'll send them an invitation to create an account on the platform so they can access all those self-service features as well. So I think that took for us about 12 minutes start to finish. It's usually a little bit faster when you don't have me narrating along the way. And so I hope that you all can see how fast and easy that we've really made this process of quoting, binding, servicing, issuing policies. And ultimately, what's our goal? It's to make life easy for you so that you can still work with these small business clients, protect those businesses in your community. These folks are the backbone of the economy. But at the same time, you probably have a lot of competing objectives throughout the day. We want to give you time back to focus on everything that's important to you. So thank you so
That's
much.
That's great, Dan. Yeah, and Dan and I, as well as the rest of our team and an entire underwriting team, are here to support you. So as fast as the system is and easy to get in and get it all done, you've got an entire team here backing you to make sure that you're getting the good risks on the books, and we're helping you through the system. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Dan and Jason, thank you guys so much for jumping on here. It's been such a pleasure to meet you. I'm quickly going to take control of this screen just to show everyone in our agent portal where you guys are located. So from our website, you'll go to our agent portal and you will log in. And once you're logged in, you'll scroll a little further on commercial and you'll see that MGT is right here. And guys, do not forget to complete the login registration beforehand so you can get your credentials. And that's really all that I have. But again, I want to thank you guys so much for your time. And if you all have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I can always reach out to Dan and Jason for an answer.
Well, thank you so much, Kylie. We really appreciate the opportunity to connect. We're really excited about this partnership and very much looking forward to seeing what we can all do together.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Thank you too.